Well, we're going on with our next speaker. It's going to be another 7-minute speaker. Oh God, that's so hard. 7 minutes. Do something in 7 minutes. Anyway, so who is he? He's Stephen Sherwood, and he's an organic farmer and a food activist based in Ecuador, as well as a lecturer and research fellow with the Communication and Innovation Group at Wageningen University. Now, for 25 years, he worked in the Americas and supported rural people's movements, seeking social change in favor of healthier, more sustainable living and being. And so he really he looked around, and the beautiful thing is that he realized that when we're striving for a more sustainable way of living, that we always think that we know everything here in the West, and it's pretty obvious that the lessons that he learned in Ecuador, the social diversity, that you can actually, we could learn a lot from that. So it was really interesting for him to help us out with his knowledge. So I'd like to give the floor for 7 minutes or perhaps a minute more to Stephen Sherwood and talk about his experience and his wise lessons. There he is.
So I have an easier question for you today. How many people in the house eat? Okay, there's quite a few. We have a serious problem in our hands when the food that we have, its production, its circulation, its consumption, fundamentally undermines our environment, undermines our health, and undermines our climate. The science is in. The consensus is really clear. Modern food is taking us down. The question is, who's to blame? A farmer once told me, be really careful when you point at somebody, because these 3 fingers are pointing straight back at you. Now, I've been thinking about this for longer than you'd want to know. And based on recent events in Ecuador, I think I figured out the 3 fingers. I'm calling them the R's of personal transformation to sustainability. The first one is responsibility. Responsible living, responsible being, a daily quest. Now, I can't say what is responsibility for you, but for Miriam and me, my wife, responsibility meant leaving the city and moving back to our rural roots. We bought what we could afford. This is about 12 years ago. 5 hectares on a degraded mountainside in Miriam's native Ecuador. As you can see, we had a soil problem. We also had no water. Our first job was to build a large rainwater harvesting system. With water, we could have alfalfa forage. With alfalfa, we could have guinea pig, a local delicacy. With guinea pig, we had a quick source of cash, and we had manure. We were on our way. Now, we also had Miriam's mother, a woman with 80 years farming experience. Check out the pumps on Grandma. In less than 10 years, our farm went from a degraded mountainside to an oasis that becomes greener with each year. Today, we produce organic vegetables for 30 families as well as a local school. These people finance our operations, and they finance the 4 workers that we have working with us. Which brings me to my second R, relationships. Build an oasis and people will come. We have over 1,000 visitors to our farm each year. These people come, they're families, they're farmers, students. But we're just one of 1,500 farms in the country that are representing new possibilities in food. Meet the father of agroecology in Ecuador, Pacho Gangotena. We're also connected to pioneers in seed saver networks, pioneers in neighborhood purchasing cooperatives in the city, restaurateurs, the list goes on. In 2005, we joined force into a colectivo. a movement of movements that embraces Ecuador. For us, the moment the consumer does not or cannot know its producer is when we find the heart of modern food. Now, we've had a number of campaigns on this issue that have tried to call attention to it, but we've really started to have effect when crisis came. My point here is around reward. You can find wonderful examples of success in moments of difficulty. In 1999, 19 of Ecuador's 25 banks went under. Its currency crashed. We had 5 governments in as many years. Things got bad. In 2007, the people said no more. They basically dissolved the government. They threw out the Constitution. And in response, the Colectivo sent busloads of people to the National Convention to write the Constitution, where we camped out for 6 months. We worked tirelessly to frame debates and to lobby in favor of putting people in the center of their food systems. The outcome was an exciting, groundbreaking constitutional mandate around food sovereignty. Food for the people, by the people, of the people. There's nothing else like it on the planet. But good ideas are not enough. We got on those buses, we went home, we finally took a bath, we got a good night's sleep, and we got back to work. Trying to put food sovereignty into practice through law. To give you one example, following 18 months of consultations with over 500 organizations throughout the country, 2 months ago we handed the Congress, the National Assembly, the framework for a transition to sustainable production based on our proven experiences in the field. But now we're focused on an even more ambitious project. We call it the Law of Responsible Consumption. Our motto is Que rico es. How sweet it is. Now, my personal motto was comer yucho, eat naked. But as my wife always tells me, I get too excited about these sorts of things. Now, there's a lot of resistance. The old guard is resisting. But they can no longer hide from the contradictions of modern food. Too many people have had a taste of the future, and they're not looking back. Now, not unlike you in the audience, we're just a bunch of people who eat. If you join our concern for what's going on with modern food, we invite you to be the change in your family and in your communities. My suggestion is to take a look at the 3 R's. Responsibility, being that shining example. Relationships, establishing and building networks around common cause. And reward, finding success in such a way that you become an inspiration. Now, I'd like to end this talk with 2 questions. What are you pointing at today? And what are we going to do about it? Thank you.